Okay, I think I'm live. So, in this video, I wanted to talk about AVM Awareness Month, arteriovenous is how it's pronounced. I don't know why I have such a problem pronouncing this word, but that is how it's pronounced. Let me check it.
Arteriovenous.
Arteriovenous. That's what it is. So October is and I call it, in the initials for it is AVM. So it's arteriovenous affirmation. That's a lot to say when you have a speech impediment, and a thick tongue. But it's tell me again.
Arteriovenous.
Arteriovenous affirmation. Okay, y'all didn't know I had a speech impediment. I ain't ashamed. I know who I am. Anyway, so I wanted to talk about that this morning. And I used to do it every year, but I stopped. But this morning, I don't know. I just woke up wanting to. I thought about it yesterday, and I was like, I'm not going to do a video on it. And then I changed my mind. So let's start with, and I can't see the chat. Let me see if I can get somewhere where I can see the chat. Hold on, y'all. Let me see if I can see the chat, because right now, the way this is, I can't see it. Hey, Misunderstood, thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. It means a lot. It means a lot when people come in for videos like this. So I appreciate that. So what and especially mothers, I would love for them to be aware of what this is. I wish I would have known, but it is what it is. So what is AVM? AVM are abnormal connections between arteries and veins that are usually found in the brain or the spine. Now, AVM can be in your uterus, it could be in your arm, it could be a lot of different places, but it's usually found in the brain or the spine. If left undetected, it can be fatal. Now, people sometimes put aneurysms and AVMs together because both of them can be a brain bleed, but they're not. But the AVM and the Aneurysm Foundation focuses on the education and solidarity of sharing during the AVM Awareness Month. They use hashtags and blah, blah, blah. Now, the motto of AVM and aneurysms is, and especially AVMs, but the motto of AVMs is, it's only rare. Do I have it? It's only rare until it happens to you. It was rare until it happens to me. And it didn't happen to me. It happened to my daughter. And the reason why I say I like when parents know about this, or anybody, because if it happened to your loved one, I want you to be aware. The reason why is because they misdiagnosed my daughter for 2 days. For 2 days. They said she had a migraine. And they treated her for a migraine and sent her home. And then when we went back to the hospital, I had to be very vocal. Y'all got to advocate for yourself and advocate for your loved ones. I had to be very vocal for them to pick up, or for them to finally do our MRI. Or I think they ended up doing a CT scan. It wasn't an MRI, it's a CT scan. For them to do a CT scan to find that she had a bleed on her hand, and then actually send her to a children's hospital an hour away to treat it. Okay, so that's why I say this is very important to make people understand what it is. Let me see who's in there. Hey, Charlie. Hey, Tazar. Hey, Coco. Hey, The Real K Fit. Thank y'all for coming in. So like I said, it's only rare until it happens to you. This is the Awareness Month. I'm trying to rush through this. And with the burgundy ribbon and the butterfly. And so I'm going to play a quick video on AVM Awareness, and I don't think this is a video. Yes, it is. Why is it not playing? So here it says, what is a brain AVM? Brain. See, I forgot that name already. A AVM. Go back. Y'all could tell I wasn't ready, and then I'm rushing. A brain arteriovenous malformation is a tangle of abnormal blood vessels connecting arteries and veins in the brain. A brain AVM may not cause any signs or symptoms. See, most times there's no signs, there's no symptoms until it bursts. Unless you go to the hospital and they're scanning you for something else and they pick it up, and then it has to be a specialist who dealt with it and familiar with it for them to even pick it up. But unless it bursts, There's usually no sign, no symptoms until the AVM ruptures, resulting in bleeding in the brain, hemorrhage, and causing brain. It don't always cause brain damage, but a traumatic brain injury is considered brain damage. But a lot of times when you say brain damage, people think, oh, you can't do this or you can't do that. But you can have some brain damage and function in life and go to school and do well in school and have a career and all of that. And you can have all of that. So that's basically what it is. And that's how my daughter's was found. Hers ruptured. She was at home. It was years ago, y'all. It was back in 2016. But she was at home. She was getting ready for school, and she just looked at me real funny. She said, "Oh, Mom, my head hurts really bad." And then she went down to the floor. She started throwing up. I called it EMS. But again, like I said before, she was misdiagnosed for days. For a couple of days before they realized what it was. Even when they saw the brain bleed, they didn't yet know what it was. They had to send her to the children's hospital, and then that's where it was discovered what it was.
I'm a quadruple board certified cerebral vascular specialist, and today I want to talk to you about arteriovenous malformation. It's an abnormal connection in the brain between an artery and a vein. Why is this important? Well, it's a primary cause of brain hemorrhage in young adults. How do you know if you don't have it? Well, a simple screening test can save your life. Leave a comment below to discuss.
So he said a simple screening could save your life. How could a simple screening save your life? If I would say this, if you have somebody that you love or you yourself having really bad migraines, like sometimes it get bad to the point where you're nauseated and throwing up, and they haven't found a medicine that's strong enough to help you. You know, you have to take very strong medicines. I'm not going to say that it is an AVM because it's very rare, but I would say, try to convince your doctors to do a scan for you to have it. Let me tell y'all, a lot of times doctors in health facilities will try to talk you out of certain scans and stuff like that, and they'll tell you things like, well, the insurance is not going to cover it, and the insurance may not cover it. I had that situation where I had some issues where I had that issue for 3 years, and they told me that I asked for an MRI, and they said the insurance is not going to cover it. And I said, well, I'll pay for it. They said, well, you're talking thousands of dollars. Set me up on the payment plan. If I have to, I'll pay for it. I'm going to pay for it. Y'all need payment in advance. I'll pay for it because this is my life I'm talking about here. My life is worth more than thousands of dollars. Well, it wasn't. I'm putting the AVM. I'm gonna get back to it. This was another situation that I was having with my personal self. They set aside. I'm gonna just tell what it was. I was having pain in my breast, y'all, for 3 years. Issues with it, swelling, blah blah blah. So I told them I'll pay for it. They did the MRI, and guess what they found? Yeah. They found something that they had to end up going in, and it wasn't cancerous, but they had to end up going in and pulling it out and doing the whole research on to make sure that I'm okay. So my point is, and guess what? The insurance went back and paid for the MRI. Isn't that backwards? You won't pay for it as much as hospitals and doctors and health facilities talking about being proactive and how they're talking about, early detection and all that. Then they tell us they're not going to pay for a particular procedure to make sure that you're okay because the insurance won't pay for it. And then you end up paying for it yourself, and then the insurance end up paying for it because they found it. Crazy. I say that to say this. If they say, I'm not going to pay for it, and you're having some headaches and unexplained this and unexplained that, go ahead and tell the people, I'm going to pay for it. I'm going to pay for it because your life is worth it. Whatever it is, your life is worth it. So we're going to play this last video.
Angiogram is going to be a video. So what they do. So what is a cerebral angiogram, and how is it used as a diagnostic test if you have an AVM? So there are a couple different diagnostic tests that I've had done. So when I had my brain aneurysm, I think they either did a CT scan or an MRI, and they could see, okay, there's a brain bleed going on. They needed more detail. So think of a CT scan and an MRI as like a still picture. And a cerebral angiogram is going to be a video. So what they do is...
So that was the same with my daughter. They did the CT scan and they found the bleed. Now they don't know what it is. So they're sending her over to this children's hospital. They get to the children's hospital. They looking at the same image. They don't know what it is. So what happens? What happened in her case was they went out on some type of chat, some group chat, something. They was typing, listen, we got a 15-year-old girl in here presenting with really bad, headaches and a bleed. It's not an aneurysm. It's not an aneurysm. So, they typing that up. Well, radiology that was in another part of the hospital, but that wasn't the children's hospital, came over. He wanted to do an angiogram. Let's look at it with an angiogram. At the same time, another specialist that didn't even live in the state, but close enough but not in the state, saw it on the same chat and said, hey, that might be an AVM. But I've never seen it presented in a 15-year-old girl, ever. She told them, cancel all my stuff. I'm going there. And she came. So my daughter had the angiogram where they ran the line up there to confirm that it was an AVM. And then after that, she was in ICU. She was in ICU for 11 days, and then she was in a step up. Thank you to somebody in the crew who told me what it was, because I said she got out of ICU. She didn't go to a regular room, but it was something else. She went to a step down, not stepped up. So she went from ICU 11 days to a step down. So what they did was she had 3 angiograms, and those angiograms was to try to make sure the bleeding is stopped and put something on it to freeze it off, as they said, and to also see where this AVM was located exactly, and so that they can decide what their next course of action was going to be concerning her. So she had 3 angiograms, and then she had the brain surgery.
They take a catheter and they go up through your femoral artery and into your brain. And I was laying, I've had several of these tests. I'm laying on a table just like this. I'm actually awake the whole time while they're doing it as well. It's kind of different than a traditional surgery. And so basically the angiogram is the gold standard for diagnosing and evaluating AVMs. And according to the Mayo Clinic, the cerebral angiogram is the most detailed diagnostic test for brain AVMs. And it reveals the location and characteristics of the feeding arteries and draining veins, which is critical for planning treatment. In this test, there's a long, thin tube known as the catheter. It's inserted into your artery. They can either go through your wrist or they can go through your femoral artery. I've had them attempt both. This one, my wrist spasmed too much, so they couldn't make it through there, went through the femoral artery. And they thread this all the way up into your brain, and then a dye is injected into the blood vessels of the AVM, and they do a series of quick x-rays so they can see that blood flow, making that video for the diagnostic test, and they can see if there are weak vessels of the AVM that would be prone to rupture. So that's just a little bit about a cerebral angiogram and what you can expect going into your procedure. And don't worry, when you're on this table, they do give you a nice cocktail, so although you're awake and it's a scary test, you do feel calm under the test.
So they also use that same test to check the, they use the same test to check after the brain surgery. I want to read something that Lady D said. She said, hello, Cruiser. I emailed you. Thank you for sharing your mom's video. Thank you for that. Y'all check that out, my mom's video from Saturday, I think it was. I had an AVM with 3 brain surgeries. Wow. 3. Wow. And the reason why I say wow is because those brain surgeries are hours long. Hours long. I can't remember whether it was 9 hours or 11 hours or 12 hours, but it's hours long. And every now and then they'll call you on the phone, which they do that for a lot of surgeries now, and give you an update. You'll see your name come up on the screen, and then you can go to the phone and get an update. But it was hours long. After they brought her back to the room, and after days of, of diagnosis and them taking her down from angiogram, and I think it was like on the 7th or 8th day that she had the surgery. When they brought her back to the room, I fainted. It was, you would think I would be okay. The surgery went well. She's woke. She's talking to me. I fainted. It's a long thing. Let me see, just growing in Detroit. You ain't lying. I had to advocate for myself. I had 2 brain surgeries because I was in their trials. I think that says trials. I can't see it real good. I was in their tales about my head. Yeah. You know, if you're having, and I'm not saying just regular headaches. Some people just have migraines, or when the weather changed, they have allergies. But I'm talking about if you're having migraines that you just can't put your finger on, to the point where it makes you nauseated. I think you should have it checked on and ask for some things. Enjoy Life said, I had an aneurysm that burst 2 years ago. I had a mild headache for about 12 hours. Wow. Hey, Coco, I'm so happy that you had to advocate for her. Happy she is okay. Yeah, she's, you know, listen, after that, let me tell you something. After that, that chick went to, they kept her out of school when she got out of the hospital. She got out of the hospital. She had the surgery around February 6th. She got out of the hospital. She was in there in a total of about 14 days. ICU 11 days and then stepped down for 3 days. So they kept her out of school where she had to go to school on using a video. A teacher would come on and go through her classes on video. And then she went back to school and they wouldn't let her cheerlead. She was upset about that. But she had the surgery in February. She went to the prom in April. And she was 15 years old. I wouldn't have dared let her go to the prom, but I was just so happy that the girl was okay that I probably said yeah to a lot of things I probably shouldn't have said yes to. But she went to the prom in April with a little fella that liked her. But no, it was something else. Oh, I wanted to show y'all her video. Let's go to that. Let's see if I can find it. I'm looking for hers. Where's it at? I guess I don't have it in my history here. Oh, here it is. Okay. This is her. So this is just like a little something I put through, and I should have slowed it down like that's my daughter, from beginning to end. Let me see if I can slow it down. And play it again. So it's just a video that's her in the hospital, and before that was me calling the EMS, and they shaved a half moon across her hair. That's her actual hair. They shaved a half moon across her hair. I kind of laughed because when she would go to her appointments, when she was recovering, she would go to her appointments. She got really close with the nurse of the doctor that was in there. The doctor that was the neurosurgeon. She had to have an adult neurosurgeon, and she got real close to the nurse. And she asked the nurse one day during one of her appointments, she said, "Hey, did y'all save my hair? Did y'all, y'all cut all my hair off? I'm just, literally bald. I have no edges, because my daughter's like me. She was able to have a sense of humor about certain things." And that nurse said to her, "Girl, we was in there trying to do some surgery. Ain't nobody trying to be playing with your hair or saving your hair." Every time I, think about that, I don't know, something about that makes me laugh. I think that was the first time I had laughed since the whole thing started. I was able to laugh at looking at the two of them talking about her hair. But of course her hair grew back and it was just as thick as it was before, and her edges came back. But I want to share that with others so that y'all can know some things to look for. And, she got what she needed as far as treatment. They got it. It's gone. We chose surgery and for them to remove it because she's a cheerleader and she's active. And had they not did surgery and removed it, she wouldn't have been able to cheer anymore. And at the time, she was a flyer. So she wouldn't have been able to cheer anymore. And she really enjoyed doing the cheering in high school. So we wanted her to be active. So that's why we chose the surgery rather than them having to go every year to go back in there and freeze it and freeze it and freeze it and go back in and go back in. We didn't want that. So we chose the surgery. And so she got treated, but I don't want anybody else to watch their daughter suffer with pain and being lethargic for 2 days, searching for a reason. If they can go ahead and say, hey, can you check the MRI and make sure this is not an AVM or something to the effect. If I can avoid somebody else, all that we went through, that's my purpose. That's my purpose, to bring awareness. October is AVM Awareness Month. All bleeds is not an aneurysm, and it's very rare until it happens to you. Thank y'all for coming in. Thank you, Jill, Comfort Zone, and Lady D, the Unfiltered Jiffy. Enjoy life. Thank y'all for coming in. I appreciate it. Yeah, a lot of people never heard of it. Thank you, Charlie, for coming in, and Coco and everybody. Miss, I think I saw K Faith Driven. Thank you for coming in. I know this ain't the beefing stuff that we enjoy, but this is extremely just growing in Detroit. Thank you. And it was Lady D. I know it's not the beefing stuff that we're used to and misunderstood. Pastor MU, thank you for coming in. I know this is not the juicy stuff, the entertaining stuff, but this is extremely important. And if there's something that happened with your loved one or with you that you need to share it. You may be helping somebody. I'm looking at Leo. You may be saving somebody's life. The Leo is brave. She's bold to come to the beef sector and to share her journey. I think that's a great thing, and it's ministry. I said last Sunday I was playing some gospel music, and I said we see ministry as somebody getting in the pulpit and hooping and hollering and all of that, and that's great. But ministry is also sharing something that you went through so that you can help and encourage somebody else. So think about it. Thank y'all again. This is Miss Cruiser. Please like, share, and subscribe.